Public records show 44-year-old Donald Ray Morgan's criminal history in North Carolina started in the 90s, when he spent more than 3 years in state prison for discharging a firearm. In January of this year, Morgan was allegedly caught with a weapon again. He was indicted by a Rowan County grand jury in May for being a felon in possession of a firearm. A warrant was issued for Morgan's arrest, but he was out of the country. Counterterrorism agents began monitoring Morgan after finding posts on Twitter declaring his allegiance to the leader of ISIS. Morgan's Twitter account has since been removed, but the New York Daily News reports his tweets also suggested he may have been preparing for jihad in Syria, Iraq, or even the United States. Morgan is under arrest for the weapons charge out of Rowan County, but a federal judge in New York ordered he be held without bond because of the evidence on his social media.
U.S. authorities arrested an American at JFK Airport returning from Lebanon, who they say is a sympathizer to ISIS, the jihadist group terrorizing Iraq and Syria. The North Carolina resident Donald Ray Morgan was taken into custody earlier this month on an outstanding warrant related to weapons trafficking. But Morgan caught the attention of U.S. counterterrorism officials after he posted several tweets showing support and fascination with ISIS. He is currently being held without bail after his initial court appearance in New York.
The question on the table was when the government could schedule a hearing on its application that the defendant be detained as a danger to the community.
Sources say there is no evidence at this point Morgan was actively plotting with the terrorist group, but his case is just one example of how finely tuned U.S. officials are to any American potentially being influenced by ISIS, seen as one of the most well-organized and well-equipped jihadist groups in the world.
Every day that goes by, ISIS builds up in strength.
U.S. officials say ISIS has aggressively been recruiting more than 7,000 fighters from all over the globe, touting it as fighters from the U.S., U.K., France, Germany, other European nations, and the Caucasus in its ranks.
If you read what they're saying, we are the enemy, they want to destroy us.
U.S. officials say more than 100 Americans have joined the fight in Iraq and Syria, and the big concern is that they will be radicalized and sneak back into the U.S. with their clean passports, just like this Florida man, who came back to the U.S. from Syria undetected and returned to Syria, where he became a suicide bomber.
This ISIS is metastasizing throughout the region, and their goal, as they have stated openly time after time, is the destruction of the United States of America.
So far, U.S. officials have arrested several Americans for their alleged association with ISIS, including 19-year-old Shannon Connolly, who was arrested in April for trying to board a plane en route to help the jihadist group fight in Syria. Pamela Brown, CNN, Washington.